On this national holiday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his fight for civil rights, a core part of that is to remember his life and how it was dedicated to service. Dr. King, other civil rights leaders, and their generation laid a foundation with blood, sweat, and tears to effect change, not only for Black people, Negroes, but also for the poor in our society. Dr. King's principles are carried on by students at Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Program has trained young scholars since 1970. Joining me now is one of those young scholars, Acacia Palmer, raised in the Bronx, now a senior in the MLK Leadership Program in Seton Hall. Also, the Reverend Dr. Forrest Pritchett, the director of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Program, and he's also a senior advisor for diversity, equity, and inclusion at Seton Hall. Welcome to you both. You each have a lot of words under your name and on your calling cards, okay? Yay, hi, Acacia, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for your time. First, Dr. Pritchett, tell us about the program. How does it work?
Fundamentally, the program, as you said, started in the 1970s. It was a large scholarship for Negro students, in a sense, to assist the university with its integration efforts. And now, in the 21st century, it is a $7,000 scholarship.
Nice.
We bring in students from around the world who are committed to social justice and living their lives, if you would, as a model and a testament to Dr. King.
Acacia, why did you apply to this? Why did you want to be part of this particular program?
I wanted to be a part of this program at Seton Hall University because ever since I was a little girl, I was always committed to helping others and social justice, and this program was the perfect fit for me, and it was really important to see that programs like this were continuing the legacy of very important figures throughout Black history and serving the community.
Dr. Pritchett, how do you take what Dr. King did then, what we've gone through over these past decades, more than 50 years, as well as now, especially these past intense couple of years? How do you take that in the program to lead, educate, motivate the students?
Well, everything we do is going to be fitting into what I would call the MLK paradigm of nonviolence. We also have an honors seminar that all of our students as freshmen will take. So they'll become thoroughly acquainted with all of his 5 books, all of his many sermons, all of his associates, and the strategies that were used throughout the many civil rights campaigns that were done throughout the South. We then have them apply those principles, programs, and paradigms to the present. We have them take that knowledge and wisdom off campus, and they are setting up programs in elementary schools and high schools and so forth. And in light of life in America under COVID and under increased racial tension, our work has become even more, I think, essential and functional.
For you personally, why are you here? What in your life led you to this position and this commitment?
I was born and raised, if you would, post-World War II. So as I became cognizant of the world around me, it was the 1950s. When I became a teenager. I can remember even moving into the 1960s, where I watched on the 6 o'clock news, February the 1st, 1960, I saw those 4 students at North Carolina A&T University sitting down at the lunch counter. And that ushered in a new era of college student involvement in the movement. 1 year later, I was leaving for college and elected to attend a historically Black college in the South. We facilitated 2 weeks on the campus, a sit-in a local establishment. Several weeks later, young Klansmen, late at night after midnight, drove their cars up on campus, mowed down many young people who were walking back from the movie that we had on campus to their residence halls. And that's where I believe my commitment to this struggle was solidified.
Acacia, tell us, racism, I know you want to be a diplomat. How do you work through that to inspire, to, create equality, to get people to understand that?
I would say the first part is definitely representation. I know that there aren't many diplomats and people that work within foreign service who are women of color and people of color. So I would definitely like to provide representation for other students just as myself. And the second component would be definitely to represent America in the aspect of its diversity and just continue to show that, you know, America has people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, socioeconomic status. So it's very important to represent an America that is diverse and committed to educating people and serving, you know, the greater community, which is the greater world, of course.
Dr. Pritchett, as you've done this year after year, which is absolutely fantastic, how does the curriculum change with what's going on in the world? And do you keep in touch with your students?
By all means, our curriculum changes in the following way. For example, the university has made a major commitment over the last 2 to 3 years to increasing the content in our curriculum that it is committed to diversity and equity and so forth. We normally have done on the MLK holiday a breakfast program, a prayer breakfast, in a tradition of something that Dr. King would have done. After the election of 2016, I went to the university provost and asked for permission to upgrade our prayer breakfast to a all-day symposium looking at all of King's works, all of his writings, and we could offer credit to our students. We could also equip them with state-of-the-art knowledge relative to anti-racism work and how to get all of us just to live together and to get along.
All of us, that's the key, and I'm sure part of that, Acacia, as we wrap things up, is your favorite quote from Dr. King. Why is that so important to you? How does it resonate? Tell us what the quote is.
My favorite quote from Dr. King is, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl, but by all means, keep moving." This one really resonates with me because it's saying to do something. So if you feel like, you know, you might not have the biggest impact or, you know, you can't do everything at once, it's important to get going, to get started, to get involved and to stay committed, no matter how things may turn out or how you may view the world, or, you know, you may feel discouraged or think that there's so much more that you could be doing, but it starts somewhere and it starts with you, and every person has a role to play in civil rights, in social justice, in public service. So it's very important to do what you can and contribute what you can, no matter what.
And keep moving, which I know you do. Acacia Palmer, a senior at Seton Hall University, thank you so much. And the Reverend Dr. Forrest Pritchett, we appreciate you too, Program Director for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Program at the university. Just continued success to you both and to the program and the future students. If you would like to know more about the program at Seton Hall University and as well more information on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., go to our website, cbsnewyork.com.